Hello, I'm Oliver Coss. I'm rector of All Saints Church here in Northampton. And thank you for watching our latest COVID update. It doesn't seem possible that 11 weeks ago I published a video on this page, short-haired and clean-shaven, in which I announced that the Archbishop had ordered public worship cease in All Saints Church, as with so many parish churches here in England and across the world. A week later, and I wasn't even allowed to come in and pray or offer the Eucharist on my own. And in the intervening time, the world has changed a great deal, and we have endured so much. Even as a few soft glimmers of recovery begin to shine, we are all too aware of the danger that remains with us. I know that amid the many traumas that we have all gone through, it has been hard to see this church lodge, the place where we might naturally come and be with God a while and tell him of our sorrows and our joys. Having removed the Blessed Sacrament in March, the assurance of the presence of Jesus in this building, it was with great emotion that we returned here in May and began to restore worship to this immense place, a building which has no other real purpose than worship. I know that it's been traumatic to see this church locked, but yesterday, the Secretary of State, Robert Jenrick, announced that from Monday next week, June the 15th, public prayer can finally be allowed in churches. We had been eagerly anticipating and preparing for such an announcement, and as so much else begins to flicker into life, and as we nervously observe the impact on virus transmission, it seems appropriate to begin serving the nation's spiritual needs in this way and allowing this sacred space once more for those who are called to it. Not every church or place of worship will be able to do this, but I'm pleased to say that we will. Firstly, we'll open because that's what we're for. We're unusual among churches in that we are an open church. Before this crisis hit, we are open every day of the year, time in every day, 7 days a week, to pray and to come to worship, to hear our choirs singing, and so many other wonderful things which we acquaint with the fabric of this place. We want to make this little step of progress to going there again. As Northampton's civic church, we feel a sense of obligation to imitate through open doors as much as with the ministry that we've been offering right the way through this time, the sacrifices made by so many in the public, private and charitable sector who have kept things running throughout this crisis. On Monday we'll announce the hours that we're going to do this, but I can confirm that we'll be open on Wednesday the 17th of June for a couple of hours, hopefully in the morning, and hopefully for a couple of hours in the late evening, in the late afternoon, where you can come in after work or while you're doing your morning shopping and pause a while in this place. To help that happen, I'm indebted to our church wardens and the volunteers who have generously offered their time to be here and to clean the church. Much preparation will take place over this week, and it's likely the church will look a little bit different when you first enter it. You won't be able to come too close to the high altar or to the Lady Chapel, though you'll certainly be able to see the place where the sacrament is reserved. You won't be able to light candles or use prayer books or aids that you haven't brought with you. But there will be sacred space into which you are invited to pause and pray and to bring everything you want to unburden yourself of. And someone to leave prayer requests with will be there, so that they form part of our live stream worship, which will continue to be offered, for now, behind closed doors. But the reason I'm speaking to you like this is I'd like to ask for your help in 3 ways. Firstly, we have 2 volunteer teams who are going to man and clean the church at the times we are open. We can expand those times that we open if we are able to recruit and resource more people power to make this happen. So if you can volunteer, please get in touch with us through Facebook or through the website or through email or ringing up any of the numbers that are displayed on the website. Let us know what you could offer, and we will make sure that you are equipped properly with equipment and with the right cleaning materials. We'll make sure that you're not asked to do anything that you aren't comfortable with at the moment. We need your financial backing to make this happen as well. Before lockdown, the ministry cost of this church was about £380 a day to keep the wheels turning. We need your help to cover this and to cover our extra expenses and our lost income, which runs at something like £1,500 to £2,000 per month, so that we can carry on offering what we do and increase that offer as conditions allow within our new and changed world. A link for online giving, you can give direct with no charges going to anybody in gift aid coming straight to us, will be provided at the end of this video and in the comments that are around it. Thirdly, it might be that it isn't safe for your church to open yet and that you usually worship somewhere else. We want to extend a warm welcome to any who might want to pray here for a time until their own spiritual home is able to. We might all be separate buildings and communities, but we are one in Christ. We'd love for you to find a temporary home here, or even offer your volunteer time if your church can't take up your generosity quite yet. We have lots of people who would love to come and help us open up, but of course many of them are shielding or don't feel that the time is right for them yet to be going about and doing normal things in society. We can release those people and make sure that they are comfortable with what they're doing, but we can strategically open our churches in our town and make sure that we have that place of presence and sacred space, even if we can't open all of them at the same time. 3 ways you can help. And the last, hopefully, about mutual aid from and to other churches and communities across our community and our region. Lastly, I want to say something about the recent world events and the protests that have followed after them. In the 12 weeks that have passed now, we've had many people say to us that church isn't about buildings and you can pray anywhere. And while we certainly agree, we do hold that this place where our Eucharistic community meets to do things that are possible nowhere else, this place being closed, has caused lasting and difficult grief. Separation from worship, community, and all the ways that coming here sustains our Christian discipleship is not alleviated by aphorismic declarations that God is everywhere, when we are perfectly aware that place and people are fundamentally important to the worship that welcomes us in, sustains us in our faith, and sends us out into the world, there to be lights in the world and salt in the earth. But even more callous is the claim, against the backdrop of protests for racial justice, that all lives matter. For the society that we live in, less than some but more than others, does not believe all lives matter. And that's why people are holding placards that say Black Lives Matter. It fundamentally believes, our society, that some lives matter more than others. Realization of this sent us to our doorsteps for 10 weeks, running as we clap for carers, and it's no less true for those left suffocating and breathless by prejudice and discrimination in a world that feels rigged against them. COVID-19 has exposed so much of our vulnerability, but it has, moreover, exposed the vulnerabilities also that we could have helped, that never needed to exist, and which we could have undone a long time ago. I gladly join my voice to those who, pondering the future that lies ahead of all of us, are determined that we should not go back to the way things were. And in all the months and years to come, we'll hear plenty from our leaders and their experts that the way we must do things is inevitable or cannot be different, or that our hands are tied. And let us know, through having lived through even just a part of this time of crisis, that such blinkered sight is merely an illusion. As we await and hope for the new heaven and the new earth, living out our Christian vocation in the world, we should not be afraid to shape the world through which we are passing by the shining light of the world to come. And above all, I think that's why we shall open our doors again, so that we may once again attain the heavenly vision, so that we may once again start to rebuild our Eucharistic community, our community built of the praise of him who offered himself for us upon the cross, and to add our voices to those crying, pleading, and breathless for justice, that we might see a new world emerge from this which has been so brutally battered and tortured. God bless you and your families. I hope that we will be able to welcome you to All Saints very soon. But I pray that you are safe and well as you receive this message.